Stella Leaback spills a cup of hot coffee on herself and sues McDonald's $2.9 million. If you believed this from the media, so did I, until I watched the 2011 documentary titled Hot Coffee, which shows how social media can distort the facts of some court cases to make them appear frivolous in order to push their agenda of tort reform. The video starts with Stella Leaback and how she was mocked by the media because the case was wrongly portrayed, and this caused many people to have a wrong and harmful view of tort laws. The documentary explains how tort laws are useful and just, and how tort reform is unfair. Tort laws are used to hold people accountable to those they injured. For example, in the hot coffee case, McDonald's had many complaints of their coffee being too hot and causing people serious injuries, but they never did anything about it until Stella Leaback was seriously injured and sued them. Now, $160,000 does sound like way too much money for a burn caused by coffee, but when we consider the circumstances, it was only 2 days worth of coffee sales for McDonald's, and this was a consequence for them to get them to change their harmful behavior, since what had happened could have been avoided had they acted on the previous of hundreds complaints. Not only that, but they are supposed to follow a rule that hot temperatures are supposed to be under 180 degrees, but because they neglected this, they're technically at fault for serious burn injuries. Now, it may come to surprise that she didn't actually get awarded $2.9 million, it was $160,000, due to the fact that some of it was her fault for spilling the coffee on herself. But the media likes to take this case and distort the facts. You know, they say $2.9 million in damage, and they take out the fact that McDonald's had so many complaints of this before. They do this to push their agendas of tort reform laws. Tort reform basically puts a cap or a limit on how much people can sue in cases like these. But the documentary shows that this really isn't that fair or just, and really doesn't make that much sense. They use the case of Gorley versus Neb Methodist Health System to show this. A mother was born with 2 twin boys, but one was born with serious health consequences due to the nurse neglecting the mother's concern that something was wrong. The mother felt her babies were moving differently, but the nurse did not take proper precautions to make sure everything was okay. The problem was caught too late. Not only that, but once the problem was caught, she was supposed to give birth immediately, but she had to wait 2 hours for doctors to show up. In this case, the jury concluded that she should be rewarded $5.6 million in damages. But because tort reform laws, the price was greatly reduced. The document explains that having a price cap doesn't make that much sense because it doesn't consider the different circumstances in each case. It just takes a random number and applies it to every case. For example, in this case, the mother couldn't be rewarded based off how much the damage done will cost her, how much it'll cost her to care for his health problems, or even get him care for when she dies, since now he can't even live on his own. I really enjoyed this documentary because it took real court cases and applied legal concepts to them so that we can get a evidence-based view on tort laws. I do wish the documentary gave us some insight on how tort laws should be managed to prevent frivolous cases, and maybe gave us a little more perspective of the other side. But other than that, this documentary did a great job of showing tort laws, how they work and why they're used, and also tort reform laws and how they can be unfair and unjust and really don't make that much sense.